Good afternoon, everybody. This is Fago Franklin III with New Stitch Media. I am here with President and CEO of enCourage Kids Foundation, Michele Hall. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I can't complain, can't complain. So before we get into your foundation and your journey within the foundation, I want your perspective about what's going on in Kentucky right now. How can we encourage people to kind of utilize their platform in a positive manner?
Wow, that's a very valid question and probably something that's on everyone's mind. I think that, as always, bringing your voice to the ballot box is important. It's everybody's right and everybody's responsibility to do so, not just in national elections, but in every election, because it's very important to have people in positions that represent you and represent your interests. So I think that's the first thing. And also, like you said, if you talk about using a platform, social media, whatever it is that you're using, real positive solutions, things that are thoughtful. I think people are very quick to respond on social without having thoughtful, careful, valid input. And I think we could all take a step back and really try to have those types of conversations that can be useful instead of just a distraction.
I agree. I agree. So let's get in now about your foundation. What started your foundation?
So the foundation started about 35 years ago. Two people interested in trying to provide experiences for children that were experiencing medical challenges. And then it just grew into, from like a wish organization to an organization that really helped hospitals nationwide. Hospitals are struggling with funding for pediatrics, with all types of programming for pediatrics. It's very difficult to be a child in the hospital now more than ever. Depending on where you are experiencing the COVID-19 pandemic, you can be separated from your parents, as the hospital rightfully so tries to mitigate how much traffic goes in and out. We ourselves were, doing a robust hospital entertainer program before the pandemic. Clowns, musicians, caricature artists, any entertainment we could send in to help distract the kids, all that was cut off. And so you're already experiencing some isolation, and now it can be worse than it ever was for these kids. So we obviously started with helping sick kids in mind, and that's been the center of our universe for the past 35 years. So
How does it make you feel that you can impact your community in a positive manner?
it makes me feel wonderful. I mean, I think that there are so many organizations out there that are doing good in the hospitals, helping kids. But I think our unique value proposition is that we don't bring things to the hospital and say, here, we thought of something that we think you should have. We work in conjunction with our hospital partners to create programming that is important, that is intentional, that is not a distraction to their work, but adds value to the work of nurses, doctors, child life specialists, social workers, everyone that is part of the team that helps to get kids better.
What have you learned about yourself when you're going through adversity as well as obstacles in your life?
Oh, wow. I'm a very pragmatic person. I'm not a complainer, and I think that was probably part of my upbringing. It just wasn't really tolerated. You didn't get a lot of attention. If you fell down, it's like, are you dead? Get back up, keep playing. So I think I carry that in my adult life. And in this job, what's really interesting is I see families and children that are struggling with things that I can't imagine. And yet they are personable, they are responsible, they are wonderful people, they don't complain. And, it's amazing. I know moms and dads that get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get their kids ready, and they've got a child maybe that uses a wheelchair, and they have to dress them, feed them, maybe sometimes clean their trach and all kinds of stuff. And you just never hear these families complaining. So I think they've been also an example for me of how blessed I am and that I have no reason to complain about anything.
I know you have an upcoming event this upcoming week or either next week, if I'm not mistaken. How are you adjusting with the pandemic? Are there going to be restriction, people wearing face masks, or how does that work?
So are you talking about the golf tournament?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that actually happened yesterday. And so,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. And so that's great because I can tell you exactly how it went. We anticipated, we wanted to make sure, along with the committee, that everyone was safe. So we limited the amount of foursomes that we allowed on the course to 25 for a total of 100 people. Everybody, we provided face masks. People brought their own, but we provided them some really cute branded face masks, and we provided everybody with hand sanitizer to carry with them onto the course. Golf is easier than an indoor event. Indoor events beyond a certain amount in New York State are prohibited, as you know, right now. But at the same time, we just wanted to be sure that everyone felt comfortable in this space, even though it was an open area. So the great advantage is that golf is played outdoors, and the opportunity for transmission is lowered very much. And again, everyone had their masks on if they were close to one another, and everybody had hand sanitizer, because you know how guys are like. I look over and I'm like, oh, they're shaking hands. What are they doing? I was like, I gave them hand sanitizer, because you know what? Everybody is, I think, eager to try to get back to some semblance of normality. This is very difficult to have to be so cautious about interacting with other human beings, which, makes me think, I think people miss people. People miss the interaction. People miss, going out to dinner together and socializing. They miss large family gatherings. And I hope that once we get beyond this, we really appreciate that. We really begin to appreciate that human to human connection that I think we all so dearly long for right now.
What advice can you give people that are discouraged during this time? I know a lot of people are doing virtual learning now these days. So how can you sit there and kind of support them in a positive manner without them losing their head?
Oh, it's hard. I helped one of my younger cousins with her two children in the first couple of days of school, 6 and 8 years old. And I just remember looking up. Now, listen, like, I'm a college educated woman. Like I said, very much a pragmatist, level headed. But like, we're setting up the Chromebooks and the space and looking at the links. And this one has this many links. I was like, this is awful. I think teachers should get twice as much money as they get right now, at minimum, for dealing with all of this. But, human beings are very adaptable. And you've seen already how we're adapting to the time that we're in. 6 months ago, I didn't know what Zoom was. And I still don't love not being able to sit across the table from someone and all of what that 3D interaction provides, but I'm getting used to it, So I think that I would just say, breathe, be patient, and learn. It's an opportunity for us to learn how to engage in a new and different way.
What obstacles did you have to endure with just starting your foundation and having an impact on your community? Because I know at first, when you first started, everybody was like, who is this woman and what is this mission within the next foundation?
Well, it's like, for me, it was different because, like I said, I didn't actually start the foundation, but I've been with the foundation for 26 years. And I think that, my story is I started as a volunteer, and I came in and helped to support a team member that was on maternity leave in my volunteer capacity. And it was only supposed to be for 3 months. And it turned into 26 years. So I think that what I find interesting is, for me, first of all, people ask me, they're like, that's a lot of longevity at an organization. And I have to say, Fago, it was not intentional. I was doing something totally different. I wasn't in nonprofit. And yet, when I began to engage with these kids and their families, I just really, I think when I look back at it, I clearly had some unique talents that I think I bring to the table. And specifically as a woman of color dealing in the New York State, initially we were, our office is in Times Square. We served the tri-state area. Having that diversity voice, I think definitely helped us in our programming. It helped us in how we were viewed by the community. A lot of that. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the ability to I think serve everybody in an equitable manner. And it's something that at enCourage Kids we strive for constantly. We know that there are healthcare disparities amongst our community, and it's important for us to talk about it and to pay attention to it, and most importantly, to address it in a responsible manner and just keep going at it until people realize that representation matters, distribution of funds and resources matters. All of that is extremely important. And so I love to sit in those larger rooms and be an advocate for everyone.
Mm-hmm. What does it mean to you that you can use your platform to not just inspire, people in your community, but as you just stated before, women of color?
Oh, it means everything to me. Women themselves, if you think about half of the population, right, are amazing. I would say the majority of the people that I work with are women. And there is definitely, and it's not, I hate to generalize, but I think that when you walk into a room full of women as opposed to a room full of men, the energy is going to be a little different. And we learn to manage in both situations. But, I think women are communal. They love to talk a lot and to really hash out every detail. And I think that helps with the end result. I think women are oftentimes more inclusive than men are. We are always looking to nurture or to pay attention to the other. But Black women in particular are, I find, just incredibly fierce and focused and structured, and when we and we're opinionated, and I love that, because you get into a room full of sisters and there's a robust conversation all the time about anything. We could be talking about shoes, and it is a robust conversation about shoes. But when we focus, especially, and so community minded. I mean, I just find that it's one of the things that we focus on so much. We focus on our community, if it's through church, if it's through sororities, if it's through other interest groups that we are a part of. All you ever hear is, what are we going to do for the community? Who do we need to align with to move the needle forward? And so I'm very proud of that. I love that about my community of women.
And my last question is, what fruitful words can you give my audience about leadership, as well as just staying positive?
Leadership. Leadership it's challenging, because what it means is that, you are, and what type of leader that you are. People talk about, do you lead from in front or do you lead from behind? I try to be an inspirational leader. I literally think about everybody on my team and how I can make them better. I tell everybody, I want you to lead me better than you were before. What can I do for you? What types of seminars and what kind of professional development can I do for you as a team member? I love people to learn. I love people to hone their craft. I love people to be able to just lean into the tape, whatever it is that they're interested in, and to grow their interests on the team. Because if everybody feels like they have a seat at the table, if everybody feels that they can participate, that's wonderful. And I tell them all the time, I find that sometimes especially younger team members, they're so eager to make a name for themselves. They're so eager to, lead a project. And I remind them, be a part of the team, support your teammates, because that's what leadership is going to notice. Not you tooting your own horn, not you trying to reach over into everyone else's lane, but really being a teammate to the people on your team. And so that's what I try to inspire my team to do. That's the type of leader that I like to be. And I think that it's important for everyone to promote respect over fear when you are in a leadership position.
And before I let you go, where can my viewers find the information on your foundation?
They can visit encourage-kids.org. I would love for everyone to follow us on social media. You will learn so much about the campaigns that we're doing. We're in the midst of a teddy bear campaign, sending teddies into the arms of hospitalized children. Actually, Teddy's like, hold on. See, he's right here. Our co-host. But, it's important, especially in times like these where children are potentially more isolated, to continue to give them coping tools while they're in the hospital. But yeah, follow us on Instagram, visit encourage-kids.org to take a comprehensive look at the ways in which we're changing hospital stays and making hospitals a better place to get better for kids and for families.
Amen to that. Thank you for just being on the show, give us encouraging words and talking about your mission in life. I love it. And we will definitely stay connected. So definitely have a blessed one, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right now.